Welcome to the Spiritual and Cosmic Podcast with Lady D, the podcast where the mystical meets every day. I'm your host, Lady D, psychic, medium, astrologer, spiritual guide, and cosmic truth teller. Each week we'll dive into real talk about living in a spiritual life in a human world. The good, the bad, the beautiful, the messy, and in between. From psychic insights, astrology breakdowns, to soulful chats and cosmic truths. This is your sacred space to awaken, expand, and keep it 100% real. So grab your crystals, open your heart, and let's get spiritual and cosmic. Hello everyone, welcome back to Spiritual and Cosmic with Lady D. I'm Lady D, and today we're diving into a topic that many in the spiritual community have been talking about. Difference between the MBS Festival here in Australia and the MBS Expo in New Zealand. So if you ever wondered what makes these events unique, which one may suit you best as a visitor, reader, healer, or exhibitor, and how the spiritual community differ between the two countries, then today's episode is for you. We'll be exploring the atmosphere, audience opportunities, energy, and overall experience of both events. So whether you're curious about attending, working at one, or simply love all things mind, body, spirit, stay tuned. So let's get into it now. So as you know from my socials, I recently attended the MBS in New Zealand. Plus, I was also at the MBS in Brisbane, Queensland, and also in Sydney. So the Brisbane one was in February. We had Sydney in March, and then October I will have the MBS Sydney again. So I thought we would look at the difference between the two countries and how they do the events and how they do the festivals. So the way out pros and cons and see, which one, I guess I feel, we'll just look at the differences. We'll just say that. So let's see. First of all, the MBS in Australia, that is a corporate company. So they run other festivals too. There are certain people that run the MBS Festival, and then they have other people that do other, like I think the home show is one of the under the same umbrella, and they have other events too. But no, home show and MBS same umbrella, and they have others too. So it is a corporate, and so the ones that have advertised or organised the MBS Festival, they actually live in Melbourne. As New Zealand, that's more of a family. At the moment, it's a family-owned expo. So when I was first started at the expo in 2024, but it was running before then. So I think originally before 2024, it was a man. He ran it by himself. Then another lady took over, but now it's more of it's like a family dynamic that have it now. So that's the difference in terms of who runs the two expos. So therefore, the expo and festivals themselves, we run a bit differently. So when we're looking at the people who run Sydney, Australia, it is a bit of a popularity contest in terms of opportunities, who does what, and even to get into the festival can be pretty much a popularity competition. Basically, there's a lot of there's in NBS in Australia. There's a lot of bias in how things are done, how things are run, even to the point of who's speaking on stage and speakers lounge. It's sort of who's the flavor of the month, or who sometimes the two can suck up enough to get on there, or who they want on there that they approach. They do things in a roundabout way, and even though you can fill out the form online, ultimately it's their choice, and it is a popularity contest because some people that are actually on there haven't even filled out a form. So that's kind of difference there. In terms of the one in New Zealand, you did apply for it. So when I first did in 2024, I did apply for it. And then this recent one I went to, again, I asked, so I applied for it and I got on. So whoever sort of asked or applied sort of, got on, but it was a smaller event. So New Zealand one, even 124 was a smaller event, a festival, than the Sydney and Brisbane. So that's a thing to remember as well. And I know in Brisbane, my friend, I knew I knew a friend that actually went up and asked about how to get up on stage the one in Australia, and they got a big speech about they've got to prove themselves, and they had to um, prove themselves. And then I was talking about someone who's presenting it's their dream, but we all have dreams, so they do make up a it's interesting because there's a lot of competition. Like I've seen things where I do know I've heard of where they do buy people coffee against big popularity contest, the one in Australia. And because it's so big too, I think people can get lost. I think some mediums and psychics that are, really, really good and potentially could, do a good presentation either speaker's lounge or on stage. I feel like they do get overlooked. I was talking about myself. I'm talking about other people that are in the industry or there, and some people that are there on stage in the Sydney and Brisbane one I know weren't even having stalls there, so they applied and they got multiple days as well. So they don't really give everyone a chance because priority should be the people who have stall holders, right? Sometimes it's because of whether it's to do with marketing of the publishers, like for the books publishing, they have their people on there, which is fair enough. But other people, it's just a bit different. In terms of New Zealand, I feel like it's a bit more even Steven. Everyone's on an even playing field. There are a lot of different people there, and I said it's just started off again. But even when I was there in 2024, I just put when I registered for my stand, I just put in my interest of presenting and doing a workshop, and I got a workshop there both days with no problem because they have the different workshops going, and then they had the presentations. This one that I just went because it was a smaller. They're starting again, so it was a smaller one. We just had presentations, and they were great. The people are very supportive in New Zealand. It is like a community feel as well. In Australia, it can be the same, but I do feel like that with New Zealand, I know it's a smaller country, but there is a more of a community feel about it. When we go to Sydney, I really feel like Sydney or the MBS here in Australia, it's changed ever since they removed the carpets from the aisles. That's what's, I feel like there's been a big, I don't know, it's like a change in the shift in energy or something. I don't know what it is, but the carpet along the aisles made it feel different somehow. Where the place that had it in New Zealand, so New Zealand's a really different, well, in different country, but the place they had it as was very nice. It had a carpet, it was warm, like it had heating, air conditioning, had a different feel about it. The space was different. It's not just one room; it's different levels. But where I was in 2024 when I did it, it was one room. It was connected to like a swimming pool, so different. But I don't know if you agree to this, but people that are going to the MBS a long time, but it's there's been little changes, but I felt like the changes or the energy shift when the carpet was removed from the aisleways. I don't know if you guys kind of felt that as well. Another thing with the NBS. So with the one in New Zealand, it was free entry. The one at Sydney, they started charging this year. So there was a fee for Brisbane, there was a fee for Sydney. I'm not sure about Melbourne. There's definite fee. Another thing too, in terms of getting in to New Zealand was pretty easy. You applied and you got in. Now, whether it comes to the one in Australia, they choose who's going to be there and who's not. And I know of readers that they've said no to, saying that they're full up, no more readers. But then other people have applied and they got given all states. I know with myself, for years I tried to have a stand in Melbourne. I do it twice in Melbourne a year, and I wanted to do the one in November because Melbourne's too cold for me in winter. And I was always told by the person that manages my account that I'm on some sort of waiting list. And it's the waiting list that never seems to go down because you'll find people having stands there that are readers, and I'm still on, when I ask, I'm still on the waiting list. So again, popularity contest, and even you'll soon and you'll see and you watch people as well. And a lot of the readers that talk to each other, not all of them, but I'm not gonna say not all of them, but some of them, they don't really like each other. So again, it's this fakeness that happens in the one at Sydney, the niceness. It's not all readers, but there's some that really don't like each other, but they pretend that they do when they're there, and that's quite funny to watch, too. So yeah, so getting back to the paid, they're starting to charge people in the one in Australia. um, I don't think that's a good idea personally, because they put our prices up for our stand. And this thing too, the one in New Zealand is a much cheaper stand. And in actual fact, with the money that you pay for in Sydney or even in Brisbane, you could pay for your airline ticket and the stand. And if you're just going just for the fare, and I'll put the accommodation too, is your price what you pay for just one stand in your Brisbane or Sydney. It is ridiculous. So if you're looking at depending which one you do, so if you're looking at, let's just say the most expensive one is March Sydney for 4 days. You're looking at around, well, last year it was 3,700 for that whole stand, 3x2. It is going up slightly for next year. I know when I rang up, they gave me my contract for next year, and it was over $4,000. And when the lady, I rang the lady up and just to confirm, because the email didn't make sense that I got, and a bit of mix up. And when she had told me the monthly amount, I was like, couldn't hide my reaction. I was like, what? How could it be that much? How could it be over $4,000? When this time I need to pay for this much? And then she went back and looked, and they had moved me. So they moved my stand for this year, and they moved me to a space that didn't have a side wall. I didn't ask for that. That's what they did. But get this. So if you want a stand that's then on the, say, the edge or the corner of the aisle, or where nothing's beside it, they won't put a wall there. So you get charged extra for them doing less work. So for them to put three walls around your stand, meaning more work, it is less money for you. That is ridiculous and does not make sense. But that's how they run it in a corporate company in Australia. Now, in New Zealand, you have the choice of what you want. When you go over there, you can hire tables and chairs the same as you can in Sydney. I have my own. But again, even with that, you're paying. It still works out. You can get the airfare, everything included, what you pay for Sydney. And because Sydney's so expensive, or Australia is so expensive, that's why you'll see them people sharing. So they share those bigger stands, because even those smaller stands, that's a lot of money to make by yourself, because you're still having to pay over $2,000 for those smaller stands. So it just makes sense to get the bigger one and then halve it. So that's a big difference too with the two. I feel like people are friendly. Visitors are friendly too. I will say with the pricing as well. I did have a discussion there in Sydney, because the pricing sort of had gone up a bit from Brisbane, but then I got another contract and went back down again, which may have been because of this comment. I spoke to one of the organisers, and I had said to her that you've got the readers' room there. They charge in Sydney, they're or whatever where you go, but they're $55 for 25 minutes. And there's no way, if you're in a stand having to make back the money I told you, can you make that back or compete against the reading room? And they advertise their reading room, it's their reading room, or it's in partnership with the person that organises it, fair enough. But you can't compete with that. And we've got to make back our money. And you're charging them to come in, and you're putting our prices up. So, we've then got to put our prices up. And as it is, people will make comments that our prices are too expensive. They're all different pricing. Some are more expensive than others, but people do complain, because you go to the reader's room and you can get a much cheaper reading for longer. So And I mean, you've got there are some quality readers in that reading room. I've seen well-known readers in that reading room of recent years. There's other ones who are just starting out practicing. So, you're not going to get told, well, maybe you are. I don't know. I don't know what they say, but it's just hard for us to compete with that. So that in itself is it's a big difference. But I think that the problem they have for the Australian ones, for the readers that are in Australia, there. Anyway, when I told the person that, and they just looked at me and they didn't really have much to come back with. They blamed the price increase on the venue, but the thing is, they're still charging people money to come in. That's the thing. The venue can put the prices up, which is fine, but then they're charging, they're double dipping. They're obviously taking a profit of us because they would be, and then they're charging people. And I feel like maybe the reason why they started charging might be because there are less stands. So people are pulling, as they're putting up their prices, people are pulling out. Even myself, it will get to a point where it's not going to be worth it for me to be there. And I won't be there when that time comes, because there's no point. And it's 4 days. Like one in New Zealand is 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, which is great. The one in Australia, so Brisbane's 3 days. Sydney is 4 days. I'm not too sure about Melbourne. I know Melbourne, one of them over a long weekend, and that would be amazing. Like if they had Sydney, if they had ran Sydney over the three-day long weekend in October instead of bypassing that long weekend, that would make a big difference too. So usually in Sydney, they have it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It does not need to be that long. And a lot of the store holders have given feedback to the people who run it. And again, it's organization, they're a company, and expressed their concerns and wanting it to be at least 3 days, not 4 days. They never do it because they want the money. It's all about the money for the ones that are run in Australia. And the thing is, you're sitting there on the Thursday and Friday, or mainly the Thursday, and you're lucky. You might be lucky to get, say, 5 readings, or you don't get. On a good day, you might get more, but on average, you're not busy the whole day, and it kind of is, to be honest with you, it's a waste of a day. I don't. It, there's no other words to say it. It's a waste of a day. That Thursday. Friday gets a bit busier, but you make most of the money back on the weekend. Brisbane is different. Brisbane, you'll find, is busy all 3 days. Melbourne, I can't comment on because I did go to one Melbourne one. It was straight after COVID, and that was busy, but they were all busy straight after COVID. And I wasn't there in a stand. I was there as a person visiting the expo because I wanted to visit the ladies that do the guide drawings because they're amazing. They don't come to Sydney anymore, which they should. Miss them in Sydney. So that is a big difference to the one in New Zealand. I think they are looking at maybe doing a reading room in New Zealand, but also too the ones in New Zealand. So New Zealand readers, they charge much less than what we charge. So you can get a reading of some of the people in New Zealand for, say, $40 for 20 minutes. That was less than what I used to charge when I first started out at fairs. When I first started out at fairs, we were charging $50 for 20 minutes. But yeah, they're a bit different. So therefore, when you have the Australian readers over there charge a bit more, there's a big difference in pricing from the local readers to the ones from Australia. So that's something to also differ. And you've got to go to wherever you're drawn to. I did go and get a reading from New Zealand just to see. And the lady that I went to, she was a good reader. There was nothing wrong with her reading, and I did say to her, "Your price is too low. You need to put your pricing up." And I think she was going to. For me, because I was looking for a medium, I didn't want to go to a tarot reader because to me, tarot readers, they're just people who have memorized cards and memorized the meanings, and then they know the different card spreads and just basically tell you what the meanings of the cards is. And I want someone who's going to tune into me. It's why I chose the person who I chose. But she was great. She was great. I couldn't complain, and it was a good quality reading too. Let's see, what else do we have for the differences? Um, I really feel like if you're looking just for something different, community feel, and and to branch out, New Zealand is really good for that. Sydney, there's a lot of I get a lot of anxiety, and I don't look. To be honest with you, I don't enjoy it. Um, it's busyness. There's a lot of work in the setup, doing the stand. It's a lot of effort. It's 4 days and they're long days. So the ones in New Zealand was from 10, I think it was 10 till 6 on a Saturday and then 10 till 4 on the Sunday, as the one in Sydney or Brisbane. Brisbane's 9 till 6. Sydney's 10 till 6. Sydney used to be 10 till 7. That was too long. So now they've made it an hour less, but again, still charging us the same price. Hmm. Um, so I guess what you take away is that the one in Australia, again, I'm going to say corporate company, there to make money, put on a festival. The quality is getting less and less and less each year, but the pricing is getting up and up and up each year. And I feel like you can feel it. I feel like there's a lot of fakeness. The ones in Australia too, because they, as I said, number one, not all, but you see them, the ones that talk to each other, the other store holders or certain people, and you just know they don't like each other. But it's all like fakeness. Um, and some people a bit, different. I know for me, the one in Australia, I sort of stay in my stand a lot. I don't really venture out that much. And it's always the same things too. There's no real different things, and people who are different don't usually come back. Because I guess they don't make the money. It's very commercial. The one in Australia, it's it's a big thing. But for me, I find it very stressful. I do enjoy reading in Brisbane. I will say that if I break it even down further from Sydney to Brisbane, I do enjoy working or going to Brisbane and reading from up there. The people are different. I love Sydney. I live in Sydney myself. I love it, but the people are different. And I do enjoy reading from Brisbane. The 4 days in Sydney, it stresses me out because it's more money that you got to make back. Because even with Brisbane, not this year there was less numbers for both Sydney and Brisbane. And I usually make the same amount of profit in paying back my hotel room and the stand in Brisbane. This year wasn't the case. I did make profit, but it wasn't what I would usually make. And I think that's had to do with the entry fee and again the energy. So yeah, but it's a coldness there. It's a definite coldness, and it started when they removed the carpet from the hallway. That's what I feel. So in New Zealand, it's more of a community feel. There's a warmth there that people are just supportive. Again, they are just different. It's like comparing Sydney to Brisbane, different. When you're looking at the other one in New Zealand, again, people are different again. But it's it's a unique opportunity to be traveled, and I feel very blessed to be given opportunity and to be able to have the opportunity to travel overseas and work. It just brings another I just feel very, very blessed, and I found it very good. But even when I did a presentation, I have done speakers lounge a couple of years, but I was put on times where there wasn't really people around because it was like on a day, the Friday and Brisbane, or it was on a Thursday, or again like Friday, where not many people are around in Sydney. But I was on Sunday at the one in New Zealand, and people came in, and they interacted. It was a really good. I did a really good presentation, and you just feel the energy is just different. So that's the thing. It's just a different thing, different feel. But I feel very blessed to be accepted and to be able to book in. And it's not that hard. You got to be organized, but it's not that hard to get into as well. And also too, with they are so welcoming in New Zealand, but we brought tablecloths, but we didn't have to bring them because they had table coverings for the tables that we had there in the one in New Zealand too. As the one in Sydney, you got to bring everything. The tables, I mean, you can get you can hire it out, but they're expensive. So you got to bring your own tables, chairs, coverings. So in itself, and also too, another thing, the quality of the wall. I almost forgot about that. The quality of the actual stand itself. So in New Zealand, they had what we used to have in Sydney, where they had the carpet walls, which were amazing. So you number one, you save money because you got the Velcro. You put on your banners, the spiky side, and you stick it up, and you can just move it down, and you don't have to buy the Velcro again. Now, the ones in Sydney and Brisbane, Australia now, they've got these flimsy cardboard walls, which come apart, mind you, and Brisbane mine came apart. And they want you to use certain Velcro, certain things, like you can put it on the top part. And again, you've got to replace the back part of the Velcro, and you have those clip things. But they're flimsy. The quality of them are just ridiculous. And again, you're paying all that money for a flimsy wall. You're paying less in New Zealand, and you're getting a more sturdy carpeted wall as well. So it's another big difference too. And you're at a carpeted event, so in New Zealand too, it's carpet everywhere. It's not just in your stand. So that's something you're paying for as well, is the carpet in your stand. So it's interesting. So, but that's my take on the differences. So, what do you think? Have you been lucky enough to go to two, and what did you feel about them? So, thank you so much for joining me on Spiritual and Cosmic with Lady D. I hope this episode gave you some insight into the difference between the MBS Festival in Australia and the MBS Expo in New Zealand, and help you understand unique energy each one brings. If you've attended either event, I'd like to hear about your experiences. So feel free to connect with me on social media and share your thoughts. I'll also add that the expo in New Zealand was run very, very well too. This was the first time that the family, it's like a family now that own it, and it was run very organized, very well. The ones in Australia, they are organized okay, but again, because it's a different feel, you feel the community energy in New Zealand. In the one in Australia, there's a coldness to it, and part of that I think maybe is a corporate, it's organizational corporate, but it's also I feel like how they run it. They made a popularity test to run. It's a popularity contest. Who they like, who they don't like. There are just these big differences. So that's another thing to think about too. Um, so don't forget to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share this episode with anyone who loves spiritual world, wellness events, and conscious living. Until next time, trust your intuition, stay aligned, and keep shining your light. So bye for now. And I will try to do more of these podcasts like I was last year. It's been a lot going on for me this year. So it has been a bit of an on and off thing, but I'm getting back in the swing of things. And yeah, I'll bring more once a week as I was before. But thank you. And yeah, share your thoughts. Did you go to both? Have you been to both? Have you been to different ones in Australia? The bigger ones, not smaller ones. And what do you feel about them? But anyway, bye for now.